I don't know why, but lately I've been hearing a lot about this place called Dudleytown, Connecticut, how it's this cursed, haunted ghost town. You know what? I'm the host of Mysterious Circumstances. Every now and then I cover some paranormal stuff on that show. I usually don't cover it like most people because, well, I try to debunk it. Most of it's pretty easy. I do love the paranormal. I appreciate it. I believe in it. What I don't appreciate is when somebody buys an old house, makes up a bunch of stories, says it's haunted, then charges people to stay the night there. Kind of like Whisper's Estate here in Indiana. I'm also really not a fan of people making stories up. Kind of like, the Warrens do every time they used to write something. So here's a story about Dudleytown. It's not even actually a town. It's, the actual name of the town is called Cornwall, right? Dudley was just a section of that town that a bunch of people with the last name of Dudley decided to settle. They settled there in about 1740s after coming here from Europe. Supposedly, the story goes that their ancestor was beheaded. He was a nobleman who was executed by Henry VIII. After that execution, they fled to America, where they were cursed from then on. From the mid-1700s to the late 1800s, a bunch of people died of starvation, malnutrition, famine, supposedly suicide as well. There's actually only one documented suicide, and it wasn't even in Cornwall. It was technically over the line in New York State. As for the malnutrition and starvation, well, that's going to happen when you have bad farmland and no clean water that's anywhere readily available. There were no crops to be had. So in about the mid to late 1800s, people vacated the town and went out to the Midwest because they realized the soil was better. So now you have a little ghost town with a bunch of stories about it being cursed, which isn't true. I think the only real thing that'll happen to you there is you'll get arrested for trespassing, probably prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Honestly, the scariest thing I found about Dudleytown is that it took them 100 years to realize they had a bunch of shitty farmland and no clean water around. So, there's your haunted ghost town, scary stories, whatever you want to call it. Just doesn't work for me, right? Oh, and just an FYI, there is no genealogy linking these Dudleys to the nobleman that was actually killed in Europe for treason. So, there's your fun ghost town, there's your stories. All a bunch of shit.